Welcome to Junk Monkey Live. It's where resellers come to just hang out and talk shop. So here we are. I did not prepare any talking notes tonight. Just been grinding every day as much as I can. Getting things listed, drafted, tested, cleaned. Trying to keep a little inventory coming in. Hey, Christopher, how are you, buddy? Oh, let me take these things off. There we go. I don't know why I had those on still. One of these days I'll think about it sooner, and I will schedule these live shows a little earlier and put the word out so people can know to be here. That, and people will get used to coming here every Wednesday night. Let's see. We may have a short one tonight. Depends on whether or not anybody comes in. How have your sales been, Christopher? I know over the weekend, it's like eBay flipped a switch and had a really great weekend. And then Monday morning, they shut it all back down again. I sent one item out today, and I accepted a offer late this afternoon, which still hasn't been paid for. I don't know if it's weird because I don't get any views, offers, or anything. I'm used to sending out a dozen or more offers a day easily on a slow day, and I may have sent out 3 offers a day over the past few days. I guess the neighbors are outside today. I can hear them over there. Yeah, my sales are down 27.4%. Pull my active listings up, see if any of the stuff I listed this morning. Yeah, 2 views. That's it. There's one that's got 2 views on it. So there's 4, 5, 6. 6 views all day long for the stuff that I listed this morning. Stuff yesterday, no views. 1 view. And 1 view on the stuff I listed yesterday. And Tuesday's listings, no views. Sunday's listings, on the other hand, tons of views. Doesn't make any sense. Hey, Chrissy, how are you? Yeah, I actually just recently, last a week or so ago, I took all my promotions down to 5% across the board because with the new updates, they have increased final value fees across the board. I don't like to pay them more than 20%. So I forget which category it is, but one category is up to 14% final value fee. It's 14 point something. So I know if I go 5%, I will across the board, then none of mine will end up costing me more than 20% in final value fees and promotion fees combined. So, Chrissy, I caught part of your live, a good portion of it, where you were pulling things out of bins, and you had Rachel on with you. And I'm lucky I caught any of that because that's normally right in the middle of my packing time. I'm packing things up and going active with a bunch of listings and laying out the day's work, but I didn't have anything to ship out. So, yeah, they, with they're having a lot of server issues. So servers are going off and coming back on and going back off. They're doing all these updates, and things are buggy, and the sales just aren't coming in right now. I had a great weekend. But they're doing all of that, and they're charging us more money and making it harder for us to sell. And they still have not dealt with the immediate pay for offers. Meanwhile, my Poshmark is doing good. I've actually been taking a lot of stuff off of eBay, moving it over to Poshmark, and it's moving over there. Shoes that I've had listed for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, I pull them off of eBay, throw them on Poshmark, and they sell within a couple of days. Monday morning. Okay. Yeah, it's doing okay on Poshmark. I'm still testing the waters. I've moved a bunch of small glassware items like coffee mugs and paperweights over there. See how that's going to go, because the shipping makes it almost impossible to sell that stuff on eBay anymore unless it's something exceedingly rare. Nobody wants to pay $20 for a $10 mug. Right now, I think I have 77 active listings. So I've been adding a few to it every day. My best Poshmark day, I think I had 3 things go out. Let's see. I'm looking at my other screen to make sure I'm caught up on the chat and to see if there's anything in the background there that I can point out. I guess, let's see. Other hand, right there, that gray strip, that's my new media shelf. It's still not quite what I want, but I got it at the bins for $2, I think. Oof. I hope you put plenty of tape on that box, Christopher. I stopped picking weights up. The last couple of times I've listed them, they just sat forever. They were hot during the shutdowns, though. People were working out at home instead of going to the gyms. Was at the bins most of the day today, and there was big fight at the bins today. They brought out a pallet. Hey, Ping, how are you? But they brought out a pallet from the back at the bins today, and it had 4 heavy-duty fold-out tables. Not the plastic type, but the old particle wood with the faux wood grain tops on it. They brought a pallet full of those out. I'd say there was 3 or 4 on there. And one guy had already bought them and was over there loading them up. And while he was up paying for them, somebody else went and got in line and tried to pay for them. And next thing we know, there's a big knockdown, drag out fight. Hey, Kristen, how are you? I got to see a fight at the bins today. Speaking of the bins, when I'm at the bins, as I find rubber bands. I put them on my wrist. That way, when I find anything that's got a cord on it, I can wrap it up right there on the spot, so I don't have a jumbled up mess in my cart. Nope, I'm gonna go put them where they belong. Never fails. I need a rubber band, and they're all on my desk next to my computer instead of over by my shipping area. Yeah, some guys got in a fight over some fold up wooden tables. Fact is, I almost bought them. I was standing there by the Batwing doors when they brought them out, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, I should tell him to just carry those straight out to my truck. Hey, Kristen, do you want to come on the show? Be a guest? I forgot a rubber band. Perfect shot. One guy, two guys both wanted them, and they crossed paths going back and forth to the front to pay for them. One guy paid for them and had them on his cart, and the other guy got mad and they started pushing each other, and next thing you know, there's a big fight. Okay, I thought I would ask. Sure, next week would be great. Yeah, that was the highlight of my day. Was a big fight at the bins because I certainly didn't find a whole lot. It took me all day to get my 20 pounds. No, they didn't call the cops. So one of the guy who started the fight, they kicked him out, and the other guys hung around. Hey, Sarah or Adam, whichever one you are. How are you? Oh, Sarah. Has to be Sarah because it's under the Daily Cabbage. Uh, Great job on that vintage T-shirt. You haven't had any more problems with Instagram, have you, Sarah? I haven't been on there the last 2 days much. Mm. Well, it's still early in the day. Well, it is. It's early here. It's later there. Maybe hopefully they'll pay for it in the morning before shipping time. I do not like the new layout for Instagram on the computer. Can't find anything. Cool. Sarah, you and Adam been doing some traveling recently. Are you guys home for a while, or you got more traveling planned? Chrissy, I believe I'd have got them. I don't do buying freeze. The closest I come to a buying freeze is when I just don't go out. I just stay at the house and list what I have. So it's just a day trip, Sarah. You know, I have changed over the last couple of years how I manage my money. I just got completely tired of great deals coming along and not having cash on hand to take advantage of those great deals. So, what I have started doing, and it's going to sound not doable, and for the most part, it's not. What I do is every time I get a payout, I put 75% of that money in savings, and I absolutely do not touch it unless I need it. And I always make sure that I have $200 in my checking account every week. And that's kind of my budget for the week. Unless something great comes along, then I'll transfer money over. Hey, Kristen, I didn't know you lived that close to each other. Variety Flipper, there he is. What was there different? Oh, okay. We're talking about Erie, Pennsylvania, and Erie, Colorado, two different places. I was going to say I didn't think you guys were anywhere near that close. Kristen, do you drive to a lot of the bins that you when you travel? Do you drive there? If not, how do you get all your stuff home? Because I'm actually thinking of doing some traveling this year. Las Vegas is one of the places I'm going to go. I have to buy a new truck before I can drag my camper a long distance. It's a big camper, and my truck is 12 years old now, which reminds me I need to put new brakes on it before we pull the camper out of storage and start using it this season. No, I'm not going to go to the Boss Seller Remix. I'm just going to go down there for their and go to the bins down there. Ah, cool. FleetCon. I completely forgot about FleetCon. Is that this coming weekend? Oh no, I'm certainly not going to FlipCon. That's all the way across the country, and I can't afford the time or the money it would take to go to FlipCon. Anymore, when I spend money, it almost has to be on something that I can make a profit on. So going to something like one of the big reseller meetups, I'm just not in the books right now. But who knows? Maybe the money will start flowing better, and I'll change my mind sometime during the year. But no, Salt Lake City is another one that's on my list to do this year, and Portland, which Portland I can drive up. It's 5.5 hour drive for me, so not really that far. Drive up there one day, get a hotel, do the bins there with some resellers I know up there, and then drive back down that night. Yeah, the Salt Lake City, I want to go down there, fly in on like a Monday, and just spend 3 or 4 days not only hitting their bins, but there's a lot of good thrifting there also. And Salt Lake is a day and a half drive for me. So I instead of flying, I don't know, I might fly out and then rent like the smallest U-Haul truck or van that I can get and drive back. It just depends on how good the picking there is. Or I might go buy a second camper, a small one, and just for when I go on buying trips. Yeah, for me, they're really cheap. There's a direct flight from Medford, Oregon to Salt Lake City. Vegas also. Trying to remember the name of the company, but they have the really, really cheap. It's like $40 to $60 to fly out to Vegas from here. Let's see. About an hour and a half north of me is another set of bins in Eugene, Oregon, and then about 45 minutes to an hour east of me in Klamath Falls is another bins. But I try to avoid Klamath Falls. It's not a very nice town. But I am absolutely going to have to step up my sourcing game this year. I've got to start sourcing higher value items in bulk because it's really for me in a day I could do 50 to 100 listings a day pretty easy. Yeah, I want to do a lot of recording and start getting back into making videos this year, but there's a few things that have a little higher priority on the list. And before I can start turning out videos, I have really, really got to learn how to edit or find somebody that can teach me to edit. Well, Klamath Falls is not only a rough place. I know this because I used to go there twice a year, every year for work. But there's some people over there that used to be friends that are no longer friends from my mining days, and I'd really rather just not run into them. You know, Kristen, I have tried over the years, and it's been a few years since I tried, but I tried so many times. I even went and bought editing software. And then just as soon as I would almost start to get a handle on it, there would be an update. And then everything that I thought I knew would change, and it would just drive me insane. I finally said, enough with it. I get it in one shot, or I just won't do it. It seems to me YouTube itself would have its own editing software and instructions on how to use it for people like me. And they probably do, and I just don't know where to look for it. Yeah, Chrissy, I last summer I started doing reels for um, Instagram, and I just kind of fell out of the habit. For a few weeks there, I was doing reels, and then I don't know. I just okay, Kristen. Thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you more about coming on next week. But yeah, I just got out of the habit of doing it, and I really should get back into the habit of doing it. I really want to do longer pre-recorded videos. Uh, for for instance, I just watched one of Rachel's older videos about her cleaning and refurbishing a couple of Coach purses, which is really and truly not too far different from how I clean and restore cowboy boots. And I would love to put that video together. Hey, Drew, how are you? We were just talking about your missus. Drew, there was something I wanted to ask you about. I knew it was an electrical thing, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. Drew, you need to do a series of videos showing how to change out a breaker box or circuit panel, go from 100 to a 200 amp service, and then jump from there to a 100 amp service on the building next to it. Back home in Texas, my stepdad is a marine electrician. So anytime I had anything electrical, I just sick him on it. It comes with that arcing and sparking. I'm not a fan. I take it all you guys were at the Baldy Pile show earlier tonight. I tried to make it, but by the time we got done eating dinner and I come out here to the shop, it was over. I think I caught the last 4 or 5 seconds of it. Yeah. I'm not going to show you how to do it. I'm just going to show you what not to do. You know, that was one of the hardest things for me to learn when I was learning to be a watchmaker. Uh, the old man who taught me, John Cassert, he very well spoken, easygoing, affable person. And I would do things that he'd tell me I shouldn't do, and it took me years to understand that it wasn't that it can't be done; it's that it should not be done, and there's a reason why. And that was the hardest lesson for me to learn. And occasionally he'd catch me doing something he'd told me not to do, and he'd lose his religion, so to speak. He wouldn't be quite so well spoken anymore. Well, last week we had Sarah on, and she had an old watch. I helped her open it up so we can get some numbers out of it and identify it. Kind of wish I had somebody who was in here tonight that needed some help doing that. Shoot, I need to hit that like button and get a sale myself. The only sale I had today was offer that I accepted, and they still haven't paid for it. Check, see if they've paid for it yet. Nope, but I can send out an offer. Huh. Speaking of the coach purses, it's I can send out an offer on a coach purse. See if we can get that thing sold tonight. I still think you should make a spoof video about Strickland propane. See, I'm not the only one. Dude, this old house that I bought still has the old knob and tube or peg and tube or whatever it's called wiring, where it's just got two wires running, and the old cloth insulation on it is very, very brittle. If you mess with it at all, 5-6 inches of it will just flake off. And I'm too old and fat to climb up into the attic and replace the wires. You know, one of the reasons people like me like that old show is because we're from Texas, and everybody from Texas that likes that show likes it because we know people just like the people in that show. And there are people that talk like Boomhauer in that show. If I could afford the ticket, I would send it to him in a heartbeat. I don't know, it might not be that expensive. Well, the house was built in 1924. Let's see, I have replaced 5 light fixtures, 1 light switch. I've removed an in-wall electric heater because I thought the thing was a fire hazard. And I just wrapped up the end of the wires really, really good and tucked them back into the wall and repaired the sheetrock. Probably not the best thing to do, but that wire needs to be pulled out completely. I really need a new breaker box, and I'd like to upgrade and then jump a breaker box over to my garage, which is about 15-20 feet from the existing breaker box. And there's only one circuit in this whole building that runs all my lights, my computers, my freezer, my air compressor. So it's a lot that runs off of one circuit. Yeah, what I ended up doing was 2 of the light fixtures that I replaced had that old 2 wires running through the ceramic tubes when it would go through a wall anywhere or a stud. What I did was I ended up putting shrink wrap, about 12 inches of shrink wrap, just over the old dry brittle insulation and shrinking that down onto it, and then just going ahead and putting my light fixture in. House still hadn't burned down, so I guess it held. Hey, Drew, you want to come on the show? I can send you a link. Yeah, no, coupons on eBay. One of the reasons a lot of resellers don't use them is because they think buyers can add them on top of sales or offers, and you cannot. You cannot stack a coupon on top of something that's already had a price lowered for whatever reason. Well, all right. I did not know that, Christopher, but I haven't run an auction in a good long time. Oh, okay, Drew, let me know. Hey, Gulf Coast Pickers Ryan just slipped in on us. All right, Chrissy, you have a good night. Drew, since Rachel started all of this reselling business, do you find yourself spotting things when you're out and about by yourself that you know she might like to resell? I found a bunch of older tools today and threw them all in my cart. Ended up having to throw all of them back. There was a torque wrench in there that I really wanted to keep, but they wanted $25 for it, and I just couldn't see paying it. It was one of the old mechanical type, not the clicking type. It has the big long needle, and the gauge that it would show you where you're at on it had a lot of damage on it. It was hard to read, so I just threw it back. Oh, cool. What have I found cool lately? Not a whole lot. A lot of bread and butter stuff. A few nicer things. But I found a pair of dress shoes last week. They're Edward Green dress shoes. Had never heard of them. They're about a $400 or $500 pair of shoes. Now all I got to do is find somebody that's willing to spend that kind of money on a pair of dress shoes. I think I have them listed for 300. The other cool thing I found, it has to do with electricity, Drew. It's a inverter converter. It's the panel that you use in a solar power system. I see interesting plush here and there, and I pick it up and look it up, and I don't know. It's just my area is probably just not very good for plush. The only decent plush I've ever found in my area was 2 years ago. I found a Sonic the Hedgehog. I think it was 18 or 24 inches, and I ended up selling it for, I don't know, $30. Hey, Red Dirt Pickers here. How are you tonight, sir? Power inverter. Yeah, I'll grab it and show it to you. It's kind of heavy. Those always itching. Yeah, one of these things. But it's got spots. It's got a door on it that you can open, and you run your wires in, and incoming and outgoing. I don't know. Yeah, it's one of them things. It's about the size of a VCR, but it weighs about 5 times as much as one. I've had a couple of lowball offers on it. And I didn't even make a. Yeah, it's for solar. But yeah, there's when everybody else is looking for Jordans and video games, I'm looking for power inverters or just anything weird. My area is just eat alive with resellers. So that between that and the thrift stores, like the main thrift store in this area is Goodwill, and they all have. They're getting better at picking the good stuff out and saving it for their e-commerce. So the reseller bread and butter stuff, I keep my eye out for it, but that's not my primary thing that I look for when I'm in there. Cool. Yeah, it comps out in the $500 range, Drew. And like I said, I've had a couple of lowball offers around $100 for it, but I think I ended up paying $10 or $11 for it. So I don't have any money into it, and I'm perfectly happy to sit on it. Somebody will come along that needs it and is willing to pay for it. No, I also source at estate sales and garage sales and stuff. The garage sale scene around here is crazy too. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Hey, Roman, how are you? Denise's Magical Emporium. That is a new name for me, I believe. Or is it? Have I seen you in the Mountain Man Treasure lives or premieres, not lives? No, I haven't found any new watches this week. I've got one. Used to be DMB. Okay, I think I remember that. I do have a watch though that I've been working on, and it is almost finished. It is a late 1950s Rolex. Uh, it's what they call an oyster shell. It's a stainless steel case that has a thick shell of gold pressed over it. But this watch was sold by Tiffany's, and in the watch collecting world, the epitome of the watch that everybody wants, they always want the Tiffany marked ones. So two identical watches, but one of them sold through Tiffany's and has Tiffany and Co. on the dial, can be worth exponentially more money than the standard watch. For instance, the one I have, if it was just a standard Rolex Oyster and I sold it as is, or fixed it up and got it running and sold it, it at best would bring about $2,500. This being a Tiffany Oyster, Rolex Oyster from the 50s, I'm going to price it up over $11,000. So I've just been taking my time on it, but I really need to. No, it's not on the store yet. I need to finish putting it back together. I had to order. When I got the watch, I paid up for it. I paid $2,000 for that watch, and then I had to spend another $700 for another case that I could get a new bezel off of. But yeah, that's one that as soon as I put it up, the lowball offers and wannabe experts are going to blow my eBay up, trying to convince me that it's not worth anything. Yeah, I think 2000. That's the second most I've ever paid up for a watch on, or any item really, for to sell. The other was an all gold Datejust, and I think I paid $3,500 for it. But normally I try to stay at 1,200 or less when I'm buying Rolexes. But I buy the ones that need to be refurbished because I'm trained and I can do the work myself. But yeah, I need to get that thing. It's been, let's see, I got that one back in November. Here it is, February. So yeah, I need to get that thing finished up and get it listed. So it'll probably be next week by the time I finish it and have it tested out, and I'm confident enough to sell it. It's in really good condition. It's got some wear and tear on it. Oh yeah, those guys, those keyboard Google University guys, they always try to talk and they don't realize they're talking to somebody that's been doing it for over 30 years. That's funny. Well, one of the things I found recently is a little tool for a router. It's a dovetail setup jig, and it's made by Rockler. And I can't find this thing anywhere online. But it's for, see, it's Rockler, and it's a dovetail setup jig. Can't find one online anywhere to get a comp. But it's got a hole in one side that you would, I guess it's to, hell, I don't know. I don't cut dovetails. But it's to set your router up, something to do with the fence. So if you have a router table, this helps you set your fence so you can do your dovetails. I don't know anybody that does dovetails on a routing table anymore, though. Everybody uses the dovetail jig. And I should probably go put that back where it's supposed to be. That's how things get lost. Drew, that'd be another good project for you to do a video on, as a test stand for resellers to test electronics. All right, Drew, you have a good one, and we'll talk to you soon. You two don't know each other? That's kind of crazy. You guys are always in the same chats. Good. I'm glad you found somebody that could work on it. There's not many of us around that have the skills and the experience to work on those old pocket watches. Hey, Brett, how are you? Yeah, it's a dovetail jig setup machine for a router. Oh no, we don't have yard sales year round. It's normally it's too cold, wet, and nasty in the winter up here. I wish we did. Hey, Mama with a camera, Lori is here. Denise, there may be a chance that your jeweler knew me because I have people ship me watches from all over the country to work on them for them. Everybody getting my sales today, Roman, were terrible. I have not made a sale today, and I only made one sale yesterday. The closest to a sale I've made today is I took a $12 offer on a pair of jeans, and they still haven't paid for them. Red Dirt, I had best watch I ever found thrifting or sourcing. I bought a rusty coffee can full of junk watches. They were what we call jobber watches. They had just generic movements in them, but they were Swiss. And I bought the entire coffee can for $5 or $10. And the bottom of that coffee can was an Omega Speedmaster from 1968. It was the original Omega Moonwatch, and it ran beautifully and looked great. Had some age to it, but it looked great. Had just the right amount of patina. I threw that thing online and sold it for $6,000. Electronic chart. Gulf Coast Pickers. Drew Strickland. I'm not seeing an electronics chart. Yeah, they're hard to come across too. Those old moon watches. They don't come up for sale very often. And I don't like chronographs, but that's one watch I wish I would have kept or could have kept. Have you seen the new Snoopy moon watch? Those things are crazy. And if I remember right, they are trading somewhere in the $250,000. Let's look one up right quick. Oh no, they're in the $15,000 to $17,000 range. Oh, there's one for 23,000. I think it's the 50th anniversary of the moon landing watch. Let's see if this is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, no, that's not it. Let me share this screen and see if we can find this. There we go. Don't think those are it. Oh, there it is. 30,000. Hopefully that's the right one. Yeah. There's Snoopy is riding a rocket and he comes out from behind the moon every once in a while. Let's see if they got a. I want to find a video of that. Let's see if we can find that watch. Ah, there we go. And if you guys are, hey, do what I tell you, computer. This Teddy Baldassar guy, he's pretty much on top of anything new that comes along in the watch world. Let's see if he's got a clip of the back of the watch and how it works. Yep, that's going to be it right there. There. I want to see how one of those work. I'm sure I know how they did it, but that's pretty cool. Whoa. But yeah, those things are cool. That's actually the back of the watch. You just take it off and look at it. It's a very expensive toy that tells time. The Marianas Trench, 5,000, like 5,000 meter. No, I don't believe I've seen that one yet. Let's see if I can find something on it. And it's the Mariana. Yeah, it would have to be. So, titanium deep sea challenge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's basically a deep sea dweller that been made a little beefier to handle deeper pressures. I just remembered I do have a watch that I have to list. I just got to remember where I put it. And if I don't find it, it's going to drive me crazy. There it is. Nope, that's not it. It's another watch I forgot I had. Speaking of Omegas, there's a Omega day date from late 60s, early 70s. The crystal for this watch, the correct crystal for this watch, the crystal alone is $150 if you can find one. And it's plastic. And the crown for it, which is the little winding knob, those are called crowns. That thing can be $50 to $100. This is one I bought as a parts watch because I have a nicer version of it. And this watch came along right after I finished working on the other one. So it's backup parts. I was thinking about listing it, but I think I'd rather keep it because these parts are not any easier to come by anymore. Good night, Ryan. But I know I've got another watch sitting over there somewhere. This one needs to go in the Omega drawer. Question is, where is the Omega drawer? That's all right. We can put it right here. Yo, I got old watches laying all over the place. There's a drawer full of them I'm going to be working on as I get the chance. Oh, there's an old Hamilton pocket watch still in its original presentation box. It's still got the hang tag for it and everything. I don't believe this one ever saw much use. An older CMAT. Man, I find those older Omegas all the time. I probably got a few that I could put one back together with. Let me see if I can. I know I've got a drawer full of nothing but Omegas here somewhere. Where's my Accutrons? Oh, right for me. Well, good news is I found the watch that I'm to list. It's an old Weiler automatic and bag full of Accutrons, old Boulevard Accutrons. That's good listing stuff, and a couple of old pocket watches. Put a few wines on this watch, run it overnight before I list it. No, I think I took that entire cabinet to storage when I was changing things around in here. But a lot more stuff in here needs to go to storage, so some of the stuff I have in storage can come here. Last year I bought out a watchmaker's estate, and it came with a ton of cabinets, just jam-packed full of watches and parts, and I still haven't gone through everything. So over here to my left, I have a watch bench set up and a cleaning machine and a buffing machine, ultrasonic tank, and a few parts, including this big cabinet, two big cabinets here. Those are all full of parts. and watches. And what I need to do is get all of that stuff out of here and then bring in the cabinets that I want to work all of my parts and parts movements into, and uh, get my home watch repair shop set up. Because come October the 1st, I'm retiring from public watchmaking. Or at least that's the plan. You know, me working on a watch, all you would see is the top of my bald head, because my face, well, when I'm working on a watch, I'm wearing a headband magnifier, and the bench is set up right about this level. So all you would see is this. Now, there are some videos out there where people set a camera in front of their face and tinker on a watch. They're not actually working on the watch. It's all for the benefit of the camera. Well, hey, Paul's here. I am not going to retire. I'm just moving my shop here to the house, and I'm going to be very, very, very selective on what I work on anymore. I have probably 6 months worth of backlog work at the shop where I work on watches for the public. And the vast majority of those watches are long-term project watches, hard to find parts for. It takes days and days and days to work on them. And I'm really don't want to do that kind of work anymore. I want to service higher end watches, not work on weird projects that take forever and can't find parts for. And it's just, I'm too old to deal with it anymore. It's too aggravating. Still not Kyle. So how you liking Florida so far? Hey, Paul, well, let me send you a link and you just come on the show. Uh, Yard sales in February. Listen to this Florida guy bragging. You know, when it comes to something like that, Red Dirt, I'm not sure what you can do with something like that. Because you can't sell it as a Rolex because it's not real. And I'm not sure if you can sell it as a movie prop. And what was the film, by the way? Eden. That rings a bell. Yeah, I have a, with the eBay being what it is, I don't know if you could sell it as a movie prop. Yeah, I grew up. We had a lot of fig trees on a farm where my grandparents were at, and trust me, fig leaves were the last thing anybody would want next to their bare skin, especially anything delicate. Olive leaf, those aren't very big. Look that film up. See, was that in 2012? All right, Christopher. With Bo Bridges. Hey, Marie, how are you? Didn't know you was in here. All righty then. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Nate Parker, 2000. Yeah, because there was a Bo Bridges movie in 2012 that was called Eden. French drama. No, I don't think that's it. Is that the one about Nate Parker? There it is. It's about the soccer team. Cool. I didn't know you worked in what did you do with the movies? Were you you work in audio or building props or sets. Cool. I'm looking at the cast and crew list. Wow, that's a lot to look through. Brian Sofsky. Well, Brian, I will look into that movie. Probably take me a while to find it. And be honest, I don't know what an AD is. Hey, Sal, how are you tonight? Oh, this lag is crazy. I ask you guys something and it takes a good minute or so and for it to make it through. Assistant director. Okay. That's what I thought, but there's so many different titles in a movie that I didn't, or job titles. I wasn't sure. I have a friend who actually made a prop for one of the Vin Diesel movies. Trying to remember the series. Um, Pitch Black. The last movie where he has the sword made out of chipped stone. A friend of mine made that for that movie. The one he's using in the movie is actually a cast replica of the one my friend made. This is going to turn into the Yak Off Ben shows. I just saw a big rat run across my floor back there. I've been buying traps and setting them trying to catch these damn things, and they keep getting out of the traps. I can't believe the damn thing just come in here while I was in here. I'll reset the traps tonight, and hopefully I'll catch him this time. Cannot have no rats running around here. I had a cat until he decided for the very first time ever to go across the road. No, he's a flint napper like me, but he makes massive flint blades. But he works in obsidian. Peanut butter, Ping. Can't believe that thing was huge. Yeah, and I've got my heater going in here. Kind of wish I had something that goes bang loaded and handy. Sneak over there, see if I couldn't pop him. Oh. Oh. Here's some of the ones that I've made. You want to talk about something that's nerve-wracking to do? Try to get a foot-long piece of glass that thin by beating on it with a hammer. Well, not really a hammer, but and that one is made out of flint. Yo, I can't. I think we're going to call it right here. I've got to take care of this problem. So we'll see you guys next Wednesday. And if I have any updates about this little thing here, I'll post it on Instagram. But till next week, thanks for coming in, and we'll see you then.